welcome Diego to Fresh and Faithful. It's been a while since we done an episode, right, Joe?
Yeah, it's been feels like a year.
I know it does.
It honestly feels like a year.
True. Everything's been going by
like
so
3 weeks, maybe. It's probably been like a month, really.
Mm-hmm.
In reality
Yeah,
of things.
we are in reality, though.
Yeah, are we? Anyways, we have Diego here. He is formally, I guess would be the word, formerly a net minister from Net Ministries. Where were you based out of for that? I can't remember.
Like the organization or
my
team?
like where was your team?
My team. Okay,
Yeah.
so we were, to put it in like the formal terms, since we're talking formally, right? It is Eastern Regional Team.
Yeah.
So I was out on the east, not as far as the coast, but it was like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio were like the three main states, and then we did a few of the surrounding states. So
Cool.
yeah, that was our area, our region. Yeah.
Sick.
And what does it mean to be a netter? They call it.
Oh, man, a netter.
Don't you call it a netter? Like people in the net call you a netter.
It's
I've
funny.
heard that so many times.
Yeah, it's funny because like I know that going in, it's like people would call us netters, but then over time, like they don't call us that anymore, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
oh, they don't. And I was like, no, but then people would still call us that. So I was like, well, it's I guess it's preference, but
Yeah.
Can't control everybody.
no,
true.
yeah, netter kind of stuck, and I mean, I was fine with it, but anyway,
yeah.
I digress. I think. What was your question?
What is a netter and what is a person who enters net ministry? What is net ministry in general?
Okay. Personal perspective or just, okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost is somebody who's open to the Holy Spirit, is open to allowing the Holy Spirit to work in and through him, because it really is a sacrificial ministry. I think going in, I never thought it was going to be as intense as it was, especially like I was like, oh, sick. We get to drive around in a van and have our trailer. Sounds like a great time, which it was. It definitely was. But I think what I didn't expect were like kind of like the tensions that were in between people and building relationships and trying to work that out, and always keep a positive mindset and allowing God to work in and through that. So I think as a whole, it's just really being in tune with the Holy Spirit, and also because it is like a charismatic, based organization, very charismatic based ministry. Should I say ministry better? It's definitely kind of taking the internal and allowing it to be external, So like what you live on the inside is what should be lived on the outside. And honestly, that's as simple as I can really put it as a whole. So, yeah.
Good. And Oscar's talking pretty loud over there. Like,
He's talking the loudest. I've never heard someone talk that loud. Ever.
I'm not gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna make a comment.
He's just gonna be screaming over there. I'm just like twitching because I just keep yeah.
So Net Ministry is a missionary ministry organization, and it was formed here in California. Is that correct or no?
No, it's based out of Minnesota, but it wasn't formed here in California. But it did come out of like the charismatic revival or charismatic renewal that was kind of happening in like the 80s. It was one of those, like one of the bigger ministries that came out of that. Of course, it is, Catholic fully, 100% Catholic, which is awesome. But yeah, I don't think it was based here in California. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I say that because a lot of the recruits come from these various dioceses in California, right? And a lot of them come from San Bernardino Diocese, our diocese, really.
Yeah, which is honestly really cool. Like, I think when I went out there, I was not expecting a lot of people from California. Like, I was expecting to be like maybe 2 people, like me and one other person, but no, there was like 9 of us, which is crazy. Wow. Yeah, and people that lived in like Oceanside, Riverside. I know that going up more towards like NorCal, there's some people in Central California, and it was a good spread of Californians per se, So, yeah, it's pretty
So
solid.
if anybody's interested in becoming a netter, like what do they do, and what do you guys do on a daily basis? I hear you guys travel a lot. Like sometimes you guys are living at host families, and also doing like missionary work at various parishes and things like that. What do you guys do on a daily basis?
Oh, well, I mean, On the daily, if we're thinking about being in the van and driving around and putting on retreats, well, because I know that there's two kinds of like teams per se. So you have your discipleship teams and you have your retreat teams. So discipleship is more like they put you in a certain like region. You kind of have like a headquarters per se, like wherever parish or wherever you are centered at, and you kind of work in that community. And so it's like you're able to do more one-on-ones with like students and different things like that. And you're a little more involved. You try to start programs. You kind of try to get their youth, involved and stuff like that. And that's kind of like over the course of 3 years. So they cycle through teams. And then once one team does, for example, their first year, they're kind of there to try to get things started. Second comes in, they do like try to get it going. And third year comes in, kind of like wrap it up, get them ready for when they leave. And so that's kind of like a 3-year cycle for discipleship. But retreat is like, of course, you are in a van and in a trailer and you're driving to different places pretty much every day. So we did about like 4 to 6 retreats a week. And sometimes those 4 to 6 retreats were maybe in the town over. Maybe it was like we had to travel like early in the morning to put on a retreat for either parish or your school or something like that. But the day-to-day was a lot of trying to get in your prayer, because without prayer, you were not going to make it. If you don't have your foundation in God, it was a lot harder when you tried to do it by your own strength. Well, from my personal experience, it was a lot harder. And then also just fully and intentionally investing in those who are also ministering with you, and being intentional with those relationships and allowing God to work through each other so you could really support each other in the difficulty of the ministry, because it's tough, And then also, like when we would put on retreats, it was about just trying to be that light for those youth, trying to just love them, even if in just like those tough moments where it's like you're sitting in those awkward conversations and you're like, all right, I'm trying to get you to talk and I don't know, I'm running out of things to ask you, It's like even in those moments, even just being there, and being loving that way, it's just being like Jesus, basically, trying to be like his apostles, and lived out in the modern day, I believe. So, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. What did you learn in Net as a Catholic, but also as a human person that you've grown throughout this entire year? What was something that you learned that you felt like, yeah, this is worthwhile?
I like that question a lot. The first thing that comes to mind is just how to love. Honestly, just how to love and what that means, what that looks like. I think learning how to love for the sake of loving, of course, doing that from like, the faith-filled perspective, because there's no way you can fully love without allowing the Father to work through you, so it's like allowing that Holy Spirit and inviting him to reside in you. And so even just in like the little things, it's like maybe it was an early morning, right? And we got to rush out of the door, and some people are freaking out. And then, you're kind of trying like, hey, it's all right. Let's just pray real quick. Or like, somebody's having a hard time with something maybe back home or something like that. And just being that listening ear, even amidst the chaos and craziness of trying to get a retreat set up or something like that. And then bringing that back home, now that I'm here again and encountering the environment I kind of left behind before I left for Net, and bringing all of that love, it's really transformative. And I think overall it's just loving for the sake of loving like Christ, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, I feel like, sometimes in the, I guess you could say the battle, that's kind of the wrong word, but like the battle of faith, or like the building of that foundation that you're starting when that process kind of begins. But it's like, it's funny. Like, I think there's like a rush and like you got to go. But yet in that, like, there's a patience and a peace within that. And it's like balancing that chaos, I guess, which like teaches you, or I guess maybe this is like a type of formation or something. Mm-hmm, is that a thing? Mm-hmm. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well,
is it a thing?
Well, I would say,
yeah, it's part of it.
Sometimes I gotta ask because it's like, am I on the right track, or am I just going some random way?
It's a thing, and I think you're speaking about is the human formation, right? But also spiritual formation, pastoral formation, communal formation, which they all experience in that ministry. And the chaos really is inner chaos, right? Or even exterior chaos, right? People are difficult.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna get to that. It's like there's a frustration I feel like sometimes with that. It's like someone like you know, going to the net stuff, and it's like going out and experiencing all that, and it's just absolute just spirituality 24/7. Like, man, that's powerful. And then you kind of come back to the it's almost like a ultimate retreat mountaintop experience, and you got to come back down, and it's like now you have to bring, it's up to you now to bring that transformative experience to all the people around you in your everyday life now. And some people just don't accept it, like not in a weird way, but like more of just like they just don't really understand what you saw or what you felt, and it's like now it's up to you to kind of do that, and then it gets kind of frustrating sometimes. I feel like because that happened like when we went to Chicago. You know, that was like the start of my like, whoa, this is crazy. Like seeing that formation like really blew my mind.
What was Chicago?
We just went to Mundelein Seminary to go visit Oliver and Larry. Yeah, but it was just, I mean, that's kind of what started this journey of working here, was just that, you know, seeing that. I was working with Father Howe here and there with video stuff. Went to Chicago and we just did like a vlog kind of video that whole week. It was like a week. Like a week. But it's just funny, man. Like you'd sit in there, and I was saying, I'm like the only dude in there that's not becoming a priest or is not a priest, you know? Like,
that must be interesting.
Like it's crazy. It was crazy, you know. Around. But it's like you see all that, and you're like, wow, this is what it's supposed to be. Like this is that dedication and that discipline and that formate. Like it's beautiful. It's not even like a scary thing or intimidating. It was just beautiful to see and watch. But it's like once you experience something like that, then you came back to the real world, and it's like you're trying to tell people like what you witnessed, and it's like what your now goal or drive to be like as, you know, not only just a human, but also someone who's just like growing in their spirituality. Like some people just don't accept it in the terms of like, don't accept it because they don't understand it, you know? But it's very interesting. And like, maybe that's like a question, but it's like, have you felt that since coming back, or like what challenges like that have arose or arisen?
One of them.
Rised?
Arisen?
I think so. One of them. I mean, first of all, like I'm sure that in especially talking from your experience, like and Father Howe, I mean, you being vocational director and all that stuff, and then like working with different parishes and things like, and even I'm assuming from your like vocational journey, I mean, you've experienced like something like Joe as well, you know, where you understand how you try to explain that to people, but it's there, and they're kind of like, yeah, you know, like that's really nice,
that's
you know,
cool.
Yeah, exactly, and you're just like. You know, he was like, I wish I could just take it and like give it to you. But, you know, to answer your question, I have experienced that. I've been reading a book lately called He Leadeth Me by Walter Ciszek. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I think he's Polish priest. I'm not sure around what time, but I know it was around like time of like the rise of communism and like the Soviet Union and things like that. And so what happened was they took him as like a political prisoner, and now he's like in these labor camps, and he's suffering these like obviously horrible things. And he's kind of like, he basically gives you the play-by-play about how his faith was undergoing that fire, but also how him as a person was being challenged and being like, dang, the person that I was, it's like, this is kind of like my purification. And one of the things that he talks about is like, how he's in this space with all these like criminals, right? With these different criminals who live by no moral code, you know, and their vice is their virtue. And he's watching this go down, and he's like, how his interior, right, God-filled reality is now clashing with the reality of the world. And questions come up, but it's not because of doubt. It's just normal human reaction, you know? And I think, of course, I'm not comparing like my experience to that kind of level of thing, but just kind of in the essence of how those realities come together. For me, it's really been that way, you know, where coming back and I'm trying to share all these beautiful things, and thankfully, you know, the people around me have received it well. But in the midst of that, there's also like God's kind of pointing these signs like, hey, you never dealt with that. You know, you should probably like go and reconcile with this person, or, hey, there's something that's still bugging you and you haven't brought it up, you know, but now that you're ready to talk about it, bring it up. And it's brought out emotions, it brought out tears, it's brought out frustrations. But then after the fact, it's kind of like, we can finally settle, because these two realities have finally come together, and they're making this one beautiful, reality that I'm now living in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I just like the idea of that, like the reality kind of situation, because I think that's what happens to a lot of people that just kind of go through the routine of their faith, but it's very like, their reality is their normal everyday life, and they just look at the spiritual reality as just like, that's just something we don't. It's almost like I don't see it, so I don't believe it. Yeah, they believe it, but it's like not really like it's here, like happening right now in front of your face. And I feel like that's kind of usually maybe the slap in the face people need sometimes. It's the one I needed, and it's like, it's like, whoa, man, like this is all real. And it's not only just all real, but it's happening right now, right in front of your face. And it's like, you can either decide to run with that or to not run with it sometimes, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
I was going somewhere, but I just lost
the image that comes to my mind is like the Mount Tabor transfiguration experience, right? Because you're like in this transfiguration mode, and you see the glory of God in a different new way, and all of a sudden you become shocked and like, okay, let's just make a tent up here because this is so beautiful. But then God's like, no, you got to go back to life, reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And walking down that mountain, you still realize like, oh my gosh, it's like we live in an imperfect world, and there's imperfect people around us, and I am imperfect, right? And so we got to face that reality, and it comes back to the chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Because you see the chaos, like for example, when I became a priest and I came back here and I served at a parish, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, the music isn't as like organized, I would say, or like,
like, what are you trying to say, man? Because I think that was my parish.
That's why I didn't say the name of the parish. Well, that wasn't because I think in seminary
he called himself out, so it's not your fault.
In seminary, they're chanting in a very
I know, yeah.
way. And you've experienced, right?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
And you're just like, wow, that's awesome. And then you come back here like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, because
well,
people don't have the training, right?
And that's happened to me. Yeah. Like, it's like, I mean, we just talked about that. Like, I don't really prefer to play music at mass anymore. It's like I like to just sit and you're saying that. It's like, well, you just like to kind of take it all in now, when it used to just be kind of like I go to church to play music. Now it's like I go to church to literally like worship now, and like the worship isn't always music anymore for me. When it used to be that, like, music was the only way I prayed every day, period. That's how I'm gonna pray, like no other way. And now that's changed, and it's funny how that's like music's been kind of like still I still like that form, but it's like that's kind of just over here now, where the little more gritty prayer is kind of where I'm at now. But it's kind of funny how that changes. Gritty prayer. It is gritty because it's hard, man. Like,
that's tough.
And I think that's why I like it. Like, I like that challenge of just sitting in silence and just eyes closed, and you're just like trying to just stay so locked in, and it's like it's satisfying. Like at the end of it, it's like, man, way more satisfying in the realms of like giving as much as like you're getting, but like the giving of yourself in that time of just like full blown sacrifice. So I'm just gonna sit here and just let it be, you know.
That's deep.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I just thought when you said transfiguration mode, like the first thing I thought was like the dark mode on your phone for some reason. It just kind of switch in your transfiguration mode. Like
that'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool.
There's just a switch on the human body.
Mom walks into your room, you're just floating like transfiguration mode.
Just want to let you know dinner's in 5 minutes.
Come down now.
Just slowly.
Come down and then come down the stairs.
Oh my gosh. No, but gritty prayer, man. I like that, actually. That's really cool.
Yeah, that just came out of my brain right now, but it is like, I like that. That sounds cool.
The locked in, you just kind of like, yeah. And I feel like we all experience that kind of like spiritual, like being locked in.
Yeah, but those are like the terms. It's like, I think like those are kind of the terms that people, like, I don't know, obviously we just made that term right now, but like, but it's something like, I think sometimes you have to say it that way, because I mean, if you just say prayer, I think people just go into a different realm sometimes. But if you say gritty prayer right now, to me, that just means like, man, you're working towards something. Mm-hmm. You're like, you're trying to get something or reach something that is just way above me and way over me. And it's like, You got to get into it. It's like the gym. I mean, the gym is just that thing. It's like you got to get into the grit of work if you want to build a heavy muscle and do all those things. You want to be a fantastic baseball player. Get down and dirty and get gritty and get it done. And it's like, why don't you do that with your faith? Because it is a very real thing, and it's a big deal, and you should treat it that way. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and the reason why is because we lack that formation. We lack that dying to ourselves. And I think Net Ministry offers that opportunity to die to yourself.
Yeah.
Because even like praying in a charismatic way, not many people are exposed to that. When first time I was exposed to Net Ministry praying, I was like, oh, this is beautiful, right? Whether it be like praying just charismatically, you might be hearing people praying in tongues. You might, they're up there, maybe dancing, or just with their body they're praying. But I think it's letting loose and allowing like our mind to let go of these constriction or restrictions that many times we impose upon ourselves because we're afraid to express our faith in that lively way, right? We're just so scared of being Catholic sometimes.
That's a good way to put it.
Good, that's exactly
Yeah.
It's weird. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm Catholic.
And so
People say it sometimes. Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We made that joke the other day, the sign of the cross stuff.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Like, man, we should make a reel on Instagram, like all these different ways people make the sign of the cross in public because they're trying to be like nonchalant. Yeah.
That's so funny. Did you make the reel?
No.
We're thinking about it. We'll probably make it soon.
We got to think of a bunch of different ones because you got to think of all the names and everything. We
Yeah.
had a few, but I can't remember right now.
Dude, you guys have been getting creative with those, man. It's so cool seeing like the reels come out of,
Yeah.
like I don't know, I forgot what the page is. What's the Insta handle called?
SP Polk.
It is, right? Okay, yeah, and just seeing all the different videos you guys are making is so cool.
No, thank you. Yeah, be creative these days, and it's just ourselves, like being authentic, right? It says like top CEO says if you want to be like transformative in your companies or even in your relation with others, just be authentic. Authenticity is the greatest energy that would transform people's lives, right? Because if you're not authentic, why would someone believe you?
Yeah, it's very easy and it's very just like on the spot. We'll just kind of chill here and we're just like, it'd be funny. That'd be funny. And it's like, okay, let's
Just do it.
Yeah, you just do it without filters, right? You just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, no need to hold it back. I mean, like you said, use everything you can, and I mean, it's a lifestyle. I think above all things, it's like you said, I think going along with that authenticity, and it makes me think of just like living your life. It's like you can't live your Catholic life and then live your actual life because that is your actual life.
Yeah.
So if you're really gonna walk down that path, I just think about like, how Jesus tells us in the gospel, how there's like the narrow way, talking about how, many will take, the easier path, right? The more open path, but then little of you will take that narrow way, and so it's like, how often are we willing to keep walking, even if it's like baby steps, along that narrow way? And that comes with just being authentic, being yourself, which through Net, I know honestly in my experience is, I don't like using the word changed, because it's like I wasn't changed. I just grew to be who I actually am, And so it's like, of course, in a sense, there is a changing, but that's more of like I say, like an exterior perspective, but more like the interior, since that's kind of what we're on the topic of. It's like it was more of a discovering and realizing, through all these beautiful people that are also pursuing, sanctity and just trying to be the best followers they can. In my experience, it's kind of like realizing, like, wow, these gifts and talents, my personality, these qualities, these traits about me, they're God-given. And so it's like, how am I really being myself, if I'm trying to live this other life, where it's like, oh, I can go to church and praise God and have a great time. But then when somebody asks me outside and then they're like, oh, you go to church? It's like, yeah, I'm Catholic.
Once or twice.
Yeah. It's cool, but you know what I mean?
And it's okay not to know. Right? I think that's what we're afraid of sometimes, because we're afraid of people coming up to say and asking us the question, oh, what verse do you like? Or, this and that. And it's okay to say, I don't know, but, what I do like about my faith, this is, right? Just be yourself, right? And at the end of the day, people
That could be a total
to be
sales
perfect.
pitch. Total sales pitch.
Yeah.
What's your favorite verse? There's just so many of them. I can't pick. You know, like but I'm saying like you can change it into a good conversation instead of just because they're just looking for that. You know, to me, it's like when people ask those kind of questions, like, well, that's a simple answer. Like, I may not have one on the top of my head, and I'll say like, well, I don't know, but I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like go deeper than that. It's like that's an opportunity to go deeper than that. Of like you can share with them your favorite little verse, or you can share with them something that's really like hit you in your faith, and it could just be a simple story that has nothing to even do with something that's in the Bible, you know, but something that is just like this happens, and this is what I experience when I get spiritual or something like that. I don't know,
Get spiritual.
but it's just like living it out through your everyday life, where people can just like see that on you, you know, have the Jesus sweating off of you, you know.
Dude, you gotta get these on shirts, man. Like, you have so many quotes. Get spiritual, gritty prayer.
Today's
like,
a one-liner guy.
yeah, seriously, man.
You see some hot mark coming out here.
You know what? It's because I didn't have coffee for like 48 hours, 2 days. I didn't have the time. And then
Didn't have the time to have coffee, bro.
So now it's hitting.
Yeah.
The coffee's just working, man.
it's because at my house, it's like we either make the you know, we do like the drip, like the pour over coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really good, but it takes so much.
Oh, that takes time,
It
bro.
doesn't take like a lot of time, but you know, human beings, it's like, oh my god, it's like 5 minutes of my day. And then,
Oh, yeah.
So we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
make it. We end up using just our little machine thing that we have that makes like cappuccino stuff. And I don't like it. So it's like I don't really make it. I just wait till Lori's like down to make the drip stuff, and then I'll drink that. But yeah, I don't. I haven't made coffee in forever, dude.
Wait, isn't that the weirdest thing? Like, it's so easy to make,
So
and yet,
easy.
like, we don't do.
No, yeah.
we don't do it.
No.
It's just like we overthink about it though,
Yeah.
to the point where we get tired because we overthought
Oh, yeah.
it. We
And it's like it
overthought.
could have just been done in that time
Yeah.
of like sitting there just
Exactly.
Seriously.
contemplating.
The time you took to decide is the time you could have been making
That's
it.
always me when I wake up like at 5:30 to go to the gym. It's like I sit there some days and it'll be like 15 minutes past because I'm just contemplating like oh my god, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And it's like, man, in that time I could have gone changed. I could have been in the car just driving there and I
Yeah.
would have been down to go.
That's
You
it.
just gotta get up, man.
The flesh is weak.
Yeah, the
bro.
flesh is it's
You're
just
weak.
weak. Yeah.
You're weak.
Dang, I think he's calling you out, man. First he calls out the parish, and now he's calling you out.
know, dude. I play bad music and I'm weak.
Dang, man. Father, how's
man.
out for it?
I kind of miss roasting you on Fresh and Faithful. Bro. That's what I've been missing, bro.
Here's the thing, though. Father, how you roast anybody you get the opportunity to roast. Let's be real.
Well, that's true.
Let's be
Because
real.
it builds-
And you're good at
builds
it.
Humility.
And you're just good at it.
It
Builds humility in it. That's brotherhood, you know?
I
like-
roast you because I love you.
Yeah.
If I don't roast you, then it's like
That's what
you
people
know?
always used to tell me when they first meet me, and then we'll like start, especially at work when I used to be a server and bartender. Like these new people would come in like the first 2 weeks or so. Like man, they would tell people like, "Dude, Joe is just so mean. Like he is an absolute, you know, I'll say a-hole."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's just I just pick on people because it's like,
Yeah.
man, if I don't do that, like then. I didn't like you, but I remember one girl, like she literally told the managers like she didn't want to be trained by me because I was just too sarcastic and I was just like on her for so many things. And it was like, dude, it's just because I'm just picking on you. Because this job should not be that serious.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like,
yeah.
it's serving. Like it's the
For real.
easiest money on earth, man. And it's just
Well,
like
we live in such a very sensitive world
Yeah.
nowadays, right? And
Yeah.
we don't know humor anymore. We don't know a sense of like how be lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like we're not making fun.
yeah,
of
it's
you,
not like
we're
I'm
just being
legit
lighthearted.
picking on you. It's more of just like that light, subtle sarcasm.
Yeah.
But I guess I mean I am guilty of taking it like every sentence I'm just doing it. But
Bro, you take it too far, bro.
You get into it, and then it just...
this is man, it's just a gift, you know.
You're just like
It's a gift. Rubbing his head
I
like
have
it's
to
a gift.
share that gift, you know.
but it builds maturity. It really does. And when somebody could roast me as a priest, I like that because I was like, you know what, we're the same.
Yeah,
I'm the same as you. Just because I'm a priest, I'm not better. So roast me as hard as you can. And if you make me
heard that?
cry, that means wow, I'm still prideful. Right? There's a part.
That's pretty intense, man.
I really
That-
think that. Like, if
I'm waiting for the day I can roast you so hard that I make you cry.
bro. I'm waiting for it too.
We
bro.
gotta start thinking
I'm
it
like,
up.
I hate you, Joe.
You're gonna do like those roast sessions. Have you seen those like the roast sessions they have on like I don't know what show it is, but they bring somebody on
Yeah.
and then they just roast the heck out of
Isn't
them.
it
Like
does Comedy Central do them?
I think so. We're
those
just gonna
are
do
good.
that.
We
with
should
Father
do
Howard.
one of-
SNL.
Oh my gosh, we should totally do a Father Hal roast. Get you a nice big chair.
dude.
Treat him like a king, and then
Just
just
do the next bishop's dinner.
oh my
In seminary
god.
formation, like I'm so used because we used to roast
Oh,
people
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time in seminary formation years.
Well, that's why I see it when like you look at all the seminarians like kind of mess around. I'll just sit there. Like it reminds me of high school baseball. Like
Yeah.
every time I'm with them, I'm just like, dude, this is high school baseball all over again. Like, because it is
that's-
funny. Like,
That's bro. It's like
Yeah.
when you're brothers, it's like that. Right?
Like I'll jump in and roast with them sometimes, but then I don't know. It's like sometimes I'll sit on the side and just kind of listen to them, and like
It's funny,
you'll make a
bro.
comment
It's
about
funny,
it though.
yeah.
You're just like they're just so young, man. It's like makes me feel. Those are some of the moments only in my life that it's like, man, I am older.
I am older.
But I think that's how men like builds fraternity.
Oh yeah,
Like you gotta roast each other.
It's one of the ways.
Yeah.
That's how you break down those walls,
Yeah.
man. It's like you're not trying to prove anything, as you realize you're all on the same level.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's again, it's just being yourself, you know,
Oh yeah.
and having that humility to like, man, someone's got to make fun of me because I'm me and I'm kind of a dork sometimes.
No, you're true. Humility. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's a fun part. I mean, man. It just obviously, since it's just me, my brother, and then my dad. You know, my mom is even jumping in on the roasting now. So
yeah.
it's like you don't get away with anything. It's like if you see something, you're getting roasted for it. Like it's,
I love that.
It's great.
so fun.
But you gotta know your limits though.
You-
'Cause
yeah, you gotta know
sometimes
what-
you don't want to pass a boundary where you roast them too hard. Right? Then it,
You know,
then it gets
it's-
all that's
Yeah.
like, it's super
that's like
awkward,
actually
bro.
picking on someone and bullying someone.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference. I don't really know that line. Like, what is that? You know, you'll never know until you're actually in it, I guess.
But you'll feel it.
feel like
That's
you
what I'm
gotta-
saying. Like, you feel it. Like, no one can ever give you the definition of like, oh, here is where
No.
that boundary is crossed.
Yeah, you just gotta have the emotional awareness.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, yeah.
That's where a lot of social skill comes in. Like,
Oh yeah.
like it's great
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to read that person.
Yeah. But made me cry though. Like cross that boundary with me. Because
He's just gonna be sitting in the corner, just covering his
hate you,
eyes.
Joe.
Like,
Just start doing that. Just like doing pranks and stuff.
because it helps me because there's people out there who are really mean.
Oh yeah.
Right? And they'll say mean things to me. And if that makes me cry, then I say to myself, man, I still gotta build humility.
Yeah.
Because why am I believing something that isn't true?
Yeah, it's crazy when
Right?
stuff like that because it gets under your skin. And it's like
Yeah.
why? It's
Like,
for
why?
me.
It's
It's like
not
why did
true.
I allow that get under my skin?
Yeah.
Because it's like I know it's not. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's just we're prideful. Right? Because it's not true.
get rid of pride, Father.
How do you get rid of it?
Yeah,
it's
it's crazy.
Just take it out.
Wear something really weird outside.
Oh yeah, tell them that. Tell them your
My
penance stuff.
penance.
Yeah.
If you're too prideful with your looks, like if vanity is your issue, because vanity is excessive worry about what other people think about you, right? That's the sin of vanity. So what I tell them is, okay, what's your least favorite color? What's your least favorite color?
Me?
Yeah.
I felt like orange.
Orange?
Yeah.
Least favorite? Okay. What's your least favorite color to wear? Orange?
Yeah. I
And
don't
I would
like
say,
orange.
okay, wear a shirt that is bright orange for a week. But you have to go out there
And wear it.
and wear. You can't just say, I'm wearing for a week at home. That doesn't count, right? So I say, wear it like outside, right?
Yeah, but you know what? It just kind of hit me. It kind of reminds me of just like medieval times of like public shaming.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting them in the stock.
Yeah. But why do you worry about it? Why do you worry about it? Right?
Get out there and humble yourself.
Everybody, look at.
And if you were there, you'd probably point it out too. Like, this guy's got an orange
I
shirt on.
would.
Like,
I
look
would.
at
I'm like, I would add to the increase
Oh, yeah.
of like shame. I was like, he was in prison.
Just loves that. Just loves that orange.
That's
bro.
right. That's right.
Put him on a roast session with the orange shirt.
What was that show? Orange is the New Black.
Oh, I think so,
I never
yeah.
watched it, but yeah, orange and new black. But yeah, that's one of my methods because you're overly worried about your looks, right?
Punishment fits the crime. Yeah,
Or just like, what if you just like shave half your beard for those of you who have beards?
that's pretty
Oh,
good.
that's true too. Yeah, shave your
That's
beard.
pretty good.
Or
Or
buzz up
do
all
like
your
an
hair.
like an opposite an oppo like goatee, like you shave like right just only right here, so you just have all this still.
Oh yeah.
But then this is all
Or
just blank.
or for Joe, I would say shave your beard like Hitler.
Is that humbling?
No, like a little stash.
That's a stash, yeah. That's okay though. I could play it off because that's just Charlie Chaplin. I'll just be like, oh, I'm just doing Charlie Chaplin.
But then
I'm
is that
bringing it back.
humbling though? Because you did it because it looks like Hitler.
What are we talking about right now?
Bro, it's going extreme, bro. And I will say diet black, though.
This is when you gotta
You have to
like
diet black.
on the screen. I'm just gonna put the just the please stand by.
That would be good. We talked about orange, and now we're talking about Hitler. How does that happen?
Humility.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's between orange and Hitler. There's humility.
But like, dude, yeah, I'm already bald, man.
Wait, but that was a
I
personal
obviously
choice.
don't care about what people.
Well, that could you practice that?
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I guess that would be the opposite. It'd be like grow my hair back out.
Would it?
Because at this point, like I probably have some heavy bald spotting now. So like it used to already be a thing, but now it's probably just so bad.
Patches, bro.
Yeah. I would be an opposite monk.
An opposite monk? Reverse monk?
Yeah.
What's a reverse monk then?
Oh wait, no, I would just be a monk. I felt that fear.
You have a tonsure? Like, was it Francis of Assisi? Right here.
My dad said I would come back from mission like that. He was like, if you don't come back like that, I don't think you changed. I don't believe you.
We can make it happen.
What are you telling me?
Please don't.
We can make it happen. We
I
don't-
didn't change.
Is
Dad.
that if you know what? If I go to
should do it.
confession and you make that my penance, then I have to.
Let's do it right now.
Go get the stove.
Joe, get out here. Get the stuff.
Go get the stove, dude.
It's like just like bleep it out, and then it's like one frame to the next. It's just like
That's awesome.
You should try that one day. But humility, you gotta mortify your flesh.
Yeah.
Because back in the old days, they used to wear was a fur shirt, just to mortify their flesh. Like Saint Francis did that. He wore a shirt that were furry because it was itchy, right? And that would force him to mortify his flesh.
you know what?
It's wild, man. Like,
Dude, Saint
you
Francis.
think of all the stuff, and it's like, dude, you're hard. Hey, man, you hard.
Yeah, dude,
That's grit. That is. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
How many gritty saints can we think about?
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be some. Like obviously all of them, but like the ones
Well,
that
good answer. You just took the thing I'd said with the Bible verse thing.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
all of them. Yeah, just all gritty. Yeah.
All of them are gritty. You think about like Saint Padre Pio, right? What he did for sacrifice and penances, right? Sleeping on like on the floor. Some of the saints slept on a rock.
On like a pillow
I think
rug.
Padre Pio slept on a rock pillow. Bro, he took a big boulder rock and he slept on it.
Like, how do you do that, man?
Yeah, I'd have to do like the hand thing.
But wouldn't that hurt more? Because then you're like resting on your hands.
I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about
But
it.
that's gritty, bro.
Yeah.
I tried sleeping without a pillow for like 3 days, and after that I was like, no, because
I used to not sleep with a pillow.
Uh,
Oh, no wonder.
Does it? No wonder.
I just have like this big dent thing in my.
No wonder.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know why. I used to just never sleep with a pillow.
It does help with alignment though, if you sleep on your back.
Yeah, that's why. I don't sleep with my back though.
Yeah, but when I see flat, because I have sleep apnea, I think, because then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't breathe, bro.
I didn't breathe, bro.
I'm almost dying.
I could just see you in your room by yourself, just pitch quiet, just. Oh my gosh!
I didn't because
I didn't breathe, bro.
Bro, I slept without a pillow one time. I was like, what the heck? I didn't breathe, man. So, hence sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea.
You need the machine.
Oh my gosh.
The sleep apnea? I tried it one time.
Those
There's
are
some-
crazy.
But it's hard to sleep with those machines.
You're like Darth Vader.
I was like, God, if you meant for me to die in my sleep, just make it happen.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let it happen, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting choked out by myself.
You wanted to be in MMA so bad that you just like you're fighting yourself in your sleep.
Tapping out the pillow.
That's funny. Bro. So humility, that's the key.
Is there any humble moment or humble lesson you had in Net? I guess we should probably bring this back to Net somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure, yeah.
That's true.
Sleep apnea to that. I mean, Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, Net itself was humbling, but if I can think of like specific moments, I mean, so on Net, I was one of the 2 team leaders. So it was me, and then I had my co-leader. And so we would like, because there was like, they like to emphasize the idea of brotherhood and sisterhood. And so like, you're really viewing each other in kind of like those hoods, right? And so in the hoods. No, but it's something, I saw it. He was going to say it. You should just say it, man. Just get it out now before I continue.
No. Just like, what's your colors, bro?
Orange.
What's your net? Oh, yeah.
Orange. Bro, no.
Your orange shirt, man.
They're gonna take this one down, man.
Oh, they won't take it down.
No.
No.
You got this. You gonna protect me, Father Hal?
No.
No. Like, nah, you got this.
You got it. Just bring your orange shirt.
I'm not wearing that anymore, man. They're gonna look for me. Anyway.
They're gonna look for me.
The guy with the orange shirt. But no, yeah, there was definitely humbling moments. I think first of all, just being a leader in and of itself is very humbling. Because it like if the mission was already hard enough, it's like being a leader and sometimes being that guy that people trust, or maybe are struggling to trust because of you're trying to do your best. It's like learning that sometimes your best might not even be good enough, and you just have to be okay with that. It's like you can't force yourself to like onto somebody in the sense of like you can't force your ideas or your like even your leadership onto somebody. You're there because the Lord chose you, and I just did the best I could, and so it's like, and I know that about my co-leader as well. She did an amazing job and did the best she could. And so it's like, but there are so many moments where we'd sit there and it's just like, what are we doing wrong? It's like, it's just things going on, and like, we're trying our absolute best, but people aren't agreeing, and there's just this stuff going. It's like, what's going on? And most of the time it was just like, all right, God, like, we can't see it, just lead, take it, and so talking about lessening pride, it's like, that's one way to get rid of it, because it's like, you realize that, it's not about you.
Yeah.
None of it is about you. And if you're really going to serve, you have to let go everything about you and just trust that, of course, he gave all of that to you, and it's just a way for you to show and give glory to his kingdom. And so I remember the first like semester, essentially, which was like September, because we started on like September 21st. So it was like September through like December in that first semester before we left back home for like a break. While I was kind of like reflecting after that first semester, I was like, dude, that was difficult. And it's like, it felt like nothing was going right. I was drained to just the point it was all gone. And then as I was reflecting, I was like, how many times did I actually like pray that God would guide me? How many times did I actually go to somebody and have a conversation about how, hey, this is something I'm struggling with, or like I can't seem to figure this out, or go to my supervisor and bring something up that I may not have understood, instead of trying to like feel like I have to figure it out on my own. And so the most humbling part was realizing how it is absolutely impossible to do, first of all, this mission, but also live my life by my own strength alone. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's like, I'm going to slowly deteriorate until it's just all gone. And then I'm going to be like, what did I do wrong? It's like, you didn't rely on God. That's what you didn't do wrong. And so it's like, it's in that sense, it was super humbling to experience that. And also, I mean, Joe, you know that it's like, music is one of like, I love music. Like, it's amazing. It's my passion. I've loved it since I was little. And then being able to take it on the road and do like team prayer, which is, we have like, every day we have a team prayer. So we all get together and we praise before retreat or after retreat. It's a beautiful thing. Being able to take that music on the road. I think every musician's like, and you could probably relate to this, musicians kind of like bane sometimes, is that we can fall into that ego, it's like, oh, I'm getting better, I'm so good, and it's like, and it becomes more about how you sound rather than what it actually means. And so being able to play for team prayers and lead worship and different things like that, even play for adoration on retreats, it was humbling in the sense of like, it's not about what I can do on the guitar or how well I can sing. It's not about that. It's like, God gave me the gift, but if I'm not using it for the right purposes, it's worth nothing, And so it's like, that was probably the greatest way I was humbled, because I always like, oh, I want to shred, and I've always loved to be able to do all that stuff. And certain guys I listen to, like instrumental players, like they're great, and I want to be like them. And so I was like, if I can do all this stuff, then I'm good, And so it was like realizing that now I'm playing G, C, and D and singing, and that's all I get to do is like, it's humbling in the sense of like, that's all you need. Mm-hmm. God's going to show you what to play. He's going to teach you what to do, in a sense, teach you how to play in your life, teach you the decisions to make and how to go about it. Because if you rely on yourself, it's not going to happen, So it was super humbling to just give that all over and realize that, it's not about me. So, yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Yes. It's not about us, Joe. It's about the Lord.
Oh. No, I agree. And I feel like that's like, I like what you all said, because that's like that's very much like the Ruach idea that we have started and like what we're doing. It's like, it's very just, being and just very just take a step back and not really worry about all the intricate parts that happen in like, one night or 3-night events that churches hold. It's like, I feel like everyone's always so worried about the schedule and like this and then this, then this and this and this, and we're gonna have 6 speakers and make all these kids or young adults or whoever that's going just sit there and listen and just take in all this information and just hope that one thing sticks. And it's like, instead we just kind of let it run itself in the realms of just like, let's all just meet up and just let that spirit just take what it wants to give us and just take it as it's given. But like even with the music vibe and that stuff, it's like it has been like that. Way more of just like used to be a little bit more crazy on the piano, and now it's just become kind of like I just hit chords and me and the 2 Mercado sisters just like sing the words and pray the words instead, and just keep it that nice simplicity, because I think this is what people resonate with that more in those times, because it's not music. I mean, I never looked at it. I used to, but now it's like these days, it's like music is just what we're doing is we're just praying. We're not really playing a song, because I think playing a song, you do that for someone to take it for, and then instead what we're doing is we're praying because everyone is a part of the song, and everyone is a part of that moment. And it's like, I think people just see that. I do believe that people see that and resonate with that more in the realms of, because it's a prayer. And it's like they're going to jump into that and be in that with you because they see it coming off of you. Like they feel that Holy Spirit happening because you're showing them that it's not a you moment. Like we're showing them that it's a moment to be with God and a moment to feel God, So it's intense. Like it's intense to feel that, like in those moments in the past, the 2-3 events we've had so far with that. It's like, it's been that feeling of like, man, you're just really not even concerned about how the evening goes. Cause it's just like, we're just here. Like the hard part was getting people here. They are here now. And now it's just like, no, Jesus, take the wheel, like it's like, I hate that saying, but it is true. Like, it's just very like, nothing is in our control in those nights, and it's like that's the beauty in it, though. Like I love not feeling that issue with dealing and worrying about control, because it's just like it's stressful to deal with control, man.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Really
it's
no
like
need, right? Why do you want to control?
It's like running on a hamster wheel. Sometimes I feel like dealing with.
You
control.
don't even know the outcome.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen. So why be in control? Just surrender and allow God to shape your life and shape what's going to happen, not only to you, but to the people around you and to your whole life in general. Okay, I think that's where you live in a more freeing and a more joyful way. When you want to control things, it's like you're constricting yourself or restricting yourself, and you want this particular outcome,
Yeah.
right? But how do you know that particular outcome is the best outcome that God has in store for you?
Yeah, right. And that's what you were talking. Like, I feel like that's what we talk about when we're talking about Catholic life and then your worldly life. How you separate them, and it's like you look at the worldly life and or the the narrow gate thing we were talking about. It's like you look at that larger worldly life that everyone falls into more because obviously it's easier and those kind of things. But is it truly easier? Like, I don't believe so. Like, I think there's like. We all think that's free, and there's just no freedom there in reality. Like, that's control. Like, to me, that's control, of a shaded, a shaded future where you can't really see what's to come. And instead of looking at that true Catholic life, again, going back to the Mundelein Seminary thing, it's like, that's what I saw in there. It's like all these young men, like I said, it looks like heavy discipline and heavy, formation, and people look at that and sometimes maybe get scared. But like what I saw was a bunch of young men absolutely free, and there is Joe sitting there, just ADHD, just jumping around. And I'm like, dude, I'm the one that's under a control right now. Like I'm the one that's like not free. I'm imprisoned right now within myself, and all these young dudes are just vibing, chanting beautifully, and just living life, dude. Like it's crazy, and it's like that's where I like just clicks. And then you look at back to the Catholic life thing. It's like people just decide to go to that heavier, freer, quote unquote, freer worldly lifestyle when that Catholic life is the true freedom, and don't have to worry about control. Like that's the thing. Over here, we're all worried about that control and shaded. I don't know what my future is going to look like. I'm freaking out when all you really have to do is look to Jesus, dude. And it's like that's your future. That's your only future. There's no other future.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should just end it. Are we ending it? Was
Yeah.
that your? I can usually tell by your size.
Yeah.
I say we just end it with a before we send it off. But you want to just tell maybe people who are considering Net Ministries or have had their concerns about Net Ministry, because I know we do that with seminarians about priesthood. But how about a netter? Yeah. So like, what do you have to say to people discerning that ministry life?
Do I like stare at the
Whatever
camera
you
while I
wanna
do it? No, I don't want to make it awkward. Like you should do that.
You come now.
Come, follow
Come,
me.
watch now.
All right, let's see. All right. So in terms of net, I'm do my best to do it justice because I know that Net.
The Mets.
The Mets.
And the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh no, dude.
2 good teams, bro.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I'll try to do it justice, do my best. Net is such a beautiful ministry in and of itself, but I think just speaking from personal experience, I think for anybody that is, looking to find a ministry in which young Catholics, that are looking to grow in their faith and find others who are like also just on fire for the Lord, or maybe even like for me going through it was like I was searching for God and I wasn't seeking God. So it was like I went into Net empty because I had searched in the completely wrong places, and I came into Net trying to discover myself, and I came out of Net seeking God and full and like overflowing. And so it's like that's an experience that you kind of just have to dive into. So for anybody that's looking to do Net, it's just about like just going for it, just going for it. I think it's just if there's a seed in your heart, if you feel even the smallest bit of, this seems like pretty cool, go with it. Don't second guess it, because the moment you second guess yourself is the moment you're never gonna get anywhere. You kind of have to be like ruthless with yourself in that way. So get into this ministry, young Catholics that you can meet, build relationships to support each other in this very difficult and very confusing and just negativity-filled world. You find a place where you can find rest, but also to find motivation to be that light outside for others. So yes, do Net for those of you young people who are looking for it. I'm currently 22, and the age start is 18, so the age is 18 through 28. So if you're looking to do a mission, go for it.
Beautiful. Cool. So we talked about humility, control, I don't know, so many things, but I guess I like what he just said, and Diego did say it best right now, of just like with all those things, with all those worries, quiet your mind and first seek the kingdom of God. And with that, we say stay fresh.
And stay faithful. God bless.
Beautiful. Dunzo.
Thank you, Diego. Pretty good.
Freaking awesome. You guys are awesome.